Okay, so let's continue with this session. Sorry, I needed to go to that meeting, but now I'm back and let's continue. We stayed with a bug and let's continue where we left it, right? Also, I was having some issues with my cell phone, like an update. Maybe an update make it to not be to give me that error. I think it's not going to give me that error anymore. Sorry for that. So for the camera, right? The webcam where I'm streaming with. Okay, so we left it with this error. So if we go to in here. If you go in here and we try to create a blog post, it gives us this error. Okay, so let me reload this. Okay, let's log in and let's regenerate the error. Okay, so we are getting this error 422. That's correct. I want to return that error when we don't get the correct validation. Okay, and I think I can remove this. So for example, now if I send everything, like make me an article, we don't get any error anymore. Okay, so let's reload this. Let's see if this gives me the error. And yes, it's still giving me this error. Okay, so what we can do, we are getting the error in here. And when there's an error in this, when we are waiting for the request to be validated, we go into this block, the catch block, and we return a response with status 422. So now let's see in here. So if we see the error, we get this unprocessable entity with status code, but we can see, like for example, if I reload this and I make this run this again, look how we have status code. Okay, so let's analyze this. So if I go to main.js and I go to what is handling this, let's see. So when the error goes, we go into this error, this catch block as well in here. And then we log this status code, and then we have the error that it says cannot read properties of undefined reading content. So if we go to here, we go all the way to here, response text output. So we are in here. So actually the error that we are seeing in here, it's happening when we are already in here in response text output. So actually all of this I think it was processed by this, so this basically. So this was processed even though this one returned a status code of 422. So let's see if I can work with this. So in here I can do something like so in here I can do something like, then I can do something like, but this is not going to be an error. So let's see, then let's do a console log of let's just do the response inside response, and let's get the response, and then let's do a catch inside error. Okay, so let's see what happens in here. So let's convert to blog post. Okay, so we are inside the response. So actually we are getting the response. So in here, this is where we have the status of 422 when we get the response in this try catch block. So so now what we can do is in here make something like this. So if the status code is 422 of this request, let's render the notification and let's close everything, like complete curl, like this. Like let's close the request in the front end. Okay, so in here I'm going to do this because it's not that error. It's going to be catched by this try block, and I don't need this one because that is going to be it is going to be parsed in here. Okay, so I think that is going to make it. Let's test it. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to do something like inside status 422 and just this for the moment. So like this. So let's see if we console log this. Okay, so yes, we are inside status 422. And this return. So we need to. Okay. I need to see if we're getting out of that block. So let's convert to blog post. Okay, so we are getting outside of block. It's not returning everything. So let's so with this return, what is this return? So let's do this. And let's remove the required option in here. And let's do, okay, please enter a YouTube URL. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see if I can remove this from here and then do something like let's do something like this. Let's see if we are inside the response. Okay, yes. So now that we are outside of this fetch, we are not getting all the way through this console log. So it is returning in here the high level function. Okay, so that's what I wanted. And in here I want to do something like render notification that says so in here invalid request data. So let's return this. Let's see. undefined. Okay, so we have an undefined. So let's just do console log. So let's do this console log response. Let's see the response. So this is the response. We have the unprocessable empty status text. So we can add it in here. The thing is that if there's an error, we need to do this. And I don't want to do this process if there's an error. It will be more than what we need. So if we go to so in here I can return the error. Invalid request data, unprocessable entity. So what if we do this? Okay, have the headers. I think I need to process the JSON, the body as JSON. So let's go to main. I'm going to delete this, remove this, and I'm going to do that. In here, so I think I'm going to do this in here. So I'm going to do response data. Let's see. Okay, invalid request data. So that's what I have in here. Invalid request data. So now, let's see again. So yes, we are having invalid request data. So if I change that in here, I can do something like data is missing or invalid. Data is missing or invalid. Okay, so I can do that. So now let's see if I get the errors in here. So we have response data, errors. The prompt field must be defined. Okay. Prompt. Okay, so this is the message. So now I can do, for each one of the error messages, we can render a notification. So we can do something like, we can do one notification per element in the array, or we can concatenate all of the errors in one string and just show one notification for all of the errors. And I think that's better, because if not, if we show one notification for each error element in the array, the error messages or the notifications can overlap. So the user is not going to see all of the errors. Obviously, there are other ways in which you can show the errors, but I think the best way right now is to concatenate the strings, the errors, in only one element or string, and just show that string as a notification. So let's do something like concatenate the errors. So we are mapping the errors and joining them. Okay, so now if I convert to blog post. Okay, so we don't have anything. So let's see. Let's console log the errors. Okay, so we have this. So we have, okay, the prompt field must be defined. Okay. So in here I need the message. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Okay, yes, we have them now. Like, you can see that the prompt field must be defined. Let's see what happens if I send both of them without YouTube URL. I think that's going to be evaluated in here. So I'm just going to comment this out. So I'm going to remove the YouTube URL. And let's remove the required HTML attribute. And let's convert. So yes, we have the video URL, okay. We have the two errors in here. So I'm just going to add, in here, I just want to add a dot to separate the errors. So let's, I don't know if I do this. And I remove the required attribute. Okay, so yes, it's been joined. And I can add like a dot at the end. Errors. How do you concatenate? Okay, something like this. So just a dot at the end. Let's see, compared to blog post. So we have dots in both sentences or errors. Okay, so so I'm going to remove this validation in here. Because we are now, like, this is going to be validation. Like, we have the validation in here in main. That is the required field. This one, and then we have validation in this one, in this front-end script, and then we have the validation in the back-end. So I'm going to remove it from the JavaScript, because if someone removes it from here, like, they can also remove it from the JavaScript because they are trying to modify the code, and maybe it's an additional validation that it's only adding additional code to my script, and I want to have it like as the minimum viable code. So I'm going to remove it from here, and we are just going to use or validate it using the backend. Okay, so now we're going to do it in here, and now I'm going to remove this. I'm going to add 3,000 in here, change it from 2,000 to 3,000, and I'm going to re-add the required attribute. to the to this field because we just want to work. So make me an article. Okay. So yes, it is now working. Okay. So with that said and done, let's save everything. So we're calling it prompt. Maybe we can change it to instructions or something. Let's change it to instructions so that it makes sense in the front end. So this is going to be called, instead of prompt, so it's going to be called instructions. And in here, let's see if we have prompt. So yes, it's prompt. So it's going to be called so let's select prompt, and it's instructions. Okay, let's save it. Now let's see in here. Yes, we need to change from prompt to instructions. And in here, let's see where is prompt being used. So this is going to be instructions as well. And I'm also going to need to change that in Gemini service. So in here we have prompt, prompt. So we're going to change it in here. So this is instructions, and this is also instructions. So now I think I also need to change it in here. In here, so this is instructions. Okay. Prompt. Where's prompt? So okay, yeah. So now let's save this and let's see if this works. So let's see, convert to blog post. Okay, let's remove the required. Let's convert to blog post, and okay, so let's say make me an article, and let's wait a moment. So this thing, I think we can already see that it's working. This one was from the first test. Okay, so I'm just waiting. Okay, so yes, it was generated. So this one is the one that we have in here. So now let's commit the changes. So let's commit everything, and let's say remove. I think I already added those changes, committed those changes. So now I'm going to do something like validating that sent fields in the back end. Something like this. Let's commit, let's sync, And now I'm going to do one change that I mentioned in a previous session. And it's basically, it's pretty simple. I just want to do it here live because I mentioned it. And I want to show you how you can do it. So basically, if we go to the files and we go to resources, views, pages, in here you're going to see that we have a home page and a landing page. So the landing page is actually the home. So for example, see this sentence, watch how it works. If I go to home, that it is this, it says that watch how it works. And why is it called landing in this code? It's because when someone is not subscribed or is not logged in, they are sent to this page. But it's not really the landing page, it's the home page. And this one, the generate content page, is the create page. It's the one in here. So now this one right now, it's called home in the code. So I want to change the name of those two views just to align them so that they are not so that they don't create confusion. So I'm going to say to go to the code, and I'm going to change home, first home, because landing is going to be called home, and home it's going to be called I can call it app or dashboard or create. This one specifically, it's going to be called create, because that's what it's doing right now. In the future, if I add more pages, they're going to have other names, and then we can have a general page that can be called dashboard or something that links to all of these pages. So let's give it the name create, and this one's going to be called home. So now if I go in here, I'm going to start getting some errors because the home page is not so right now it's looking for this endpoint, it's looking for the home page, and it exists, but it's showing this, and in this it's going to give me an error because it's not finding the landing page, and also it requires more information than when it's being passed through to this view. So we need to work on this, and let's see. So I need to go to the roots, and for example the home page, it's this one, it's in the home controller. So let's open home controller, and in here we are going to render the home page. Okay, so in here I am now showing the home page. Okay, so now if I go in here, it's showing the same page. So now I need to change that in the root. So it's the root create. So let's go to generated content controller. So generated content controller, and we are going to show the create page. So if I go in here, we already have it. So now everything should be working because I just changed those two landing pages. So this should also work. Make me an article, convert to blog post. Okay, so that is also something that I wanted to show. Now I want to do two more things in this session. First, I'm going to move this to the front end, to the production environment, to the production server, and I want to fix some npm package vulnerabilities that I think we have in here. I want to show you some of the things that you can do to make your npm packages more secure. And the other thing is that I want to make sure that what's being generated in here, it's HTML, not Markdown as it's showing right now. We could add the feature to identify if it's Markdown or HTML, or if it's or to be able to select if we want the output to be in HTML or in Markdown. Right now the focus is to create it in HTML because that's what I use in my projects, and I'm doing this for my projects, like to be able to create content with the to be able to create text content from the video content that I create. So since my blog post, since I want to have the blog post in HTML because I'm not using Markdown to show the content, to render the content, I want to just use HTML. So let's make sure that we are using HTML. So that's the two other things that I want to do in this session. So let's go to let's first work on the vulnerabilities, the package vulnerabilities. So so this is called change home pages. Names or something like this. So it's home page, name home, and create like this. So let's sync the changes, and I just want to see why is this getting I don't know why is this giving me an error, but let's see. So let's go to okay, so let's go to the server. I just want to, let's just give me a moment. Let me connect to the server. Okay, so I'm in here, and let me get my command, my pipeline command, my deployment pipeline command. So put it in here. Okay, so I have it in here. Okay, so let's paste it, and let's see if I get the vulnerabilities. And I want to also do some other changes in here, like for example, instead of running the npm run build in the server, I want to make some changes to run that command in the server, like in the development server in my computer, and just move the compiled packages, the compiled files to the server, to the production server, and only install the npm packages that are required for production in the production server. All of the other packages that are just used for compiling, transpiling, for the build command, basically, I want to have them just in my local server because that reduces the attack surface for any hacker or anyone that wants to attack your server. Okay, so let's see. So we have these things. Let me do something like npm audit instead of just relying on npm CI. Let's do npm audit. Okay, so let me move myself to project. So in here, let me run npm audit in here. Okay, so we do have if okay, so let's see. So we have four vulnerabilities, 3 that are low vulnerabilities, 1 that is critical. So let's see. This is one package that has a vulnerability. This is another one. This is another one. Okay, so okay. For example, let's see. We have fix available with npm audit fix. What this is going to do is going to update the version that it's being used to a patch version that fixes this known vulnerability. I want to see which version I have of this. So let me copy this and let me do npm list this. So let's see if I can. Okay, so I have O.2.8 and O.3.2. So this package has issues when the version is lower than O.3.4, and we can see that if we go to this link. So let me just go to this page so that it opens in here. So in here it's telling me that the patch version O.3.4 it's the version that doesn't have the error. Okay, so let me do not the error, the known vulnerability. So let's do, okay, in the other one it's this, I think it's this one. So I'm going to do the same thing, but for this package. So we have the 4.0.3 and the 4.0.3, and it's telling me that it has the errors in the versions 4.0.3. If we go in here, we're going to see that the patch version it's the 4.0.4. Okay, so let's do npm audit fix to see if it can solve these issues, and if not, we are going to need to do other things. So sometimes it cannot do it because it requires a version, the fix requires a version that your packages doesn't support. So that's when we need to work on this. So supposedly now there are no vulnerabilities. Let's npm audit again. So we don't have any vulnerabilities. So just let's validate that, for example, for this plugin, we now have the O.3.5 version in both places. So it's this one. Now we have a version that is not affected by this known vulnerability. And in this one, we now have the 4.0.4 version, and basically it's this one, the patch version. So in this case, npm audit fix solved the issue without any breaking changes in our packages. Sometimes it is not going to solve all of the issues, all of the vulnerabilities, and you are going to need to do more things. For example, modify your package.json manually. You are going to need to add some like a new key to the package.json, or you will need to upgrade the package, like the package that is using these packages, so that npm audit fix can solve or fix the issues, your issues or vulnerabilities. Well, I'm going to show how to do that when I have this issue, that vulnerability. But if you want to, you can send me a message, leave me a comment, and I'm going to see how I can replicate those issues. Okay. So we have that, and the other thing that I told you that I wanted to do in this yes, in this session, I just want to be able to make sure that I also have the fix in here in my local environment, because I have problems in both. So let's do npm audit fix. Let's see if it is shown in here, it is fixed in here in the local environment. So they're using the same packages right now. So I think it should solve it. So it's taking a little bit. I think it's because of my internet. Right now we were working on a server in here, so it's already connected to so all of the data was between the server and the internet. Maybe that's why it's taking longer in here. I'm going to leave it like that, see if it can solve the issue. And we are going to work on this so that it generates only HTML content and not Markdown, because I need it in HTML, and this is basically for me. So that's why I'm going to do it in that way. So let's go to let's validate that this is working. So I think this is, so if we go to the home page, we can log in, and I think this is example at one of my domains. So just let me get my password. Okay, so let's sign in. Okay, okay, so let's make me an article. So let's convert this. Let's see, there's no error being shown, and it's generating the article. Okay, so Okay, so this was fixed. Just to make sure. Okay, so now we have the correct ones. And I'm going to delete this and rerun it. Okay. So now let's go to here and let's add something updated package log with fixed vulnerabilities. So let's go to here and let's go to Gemini service. And in here, for example, we have instructions, yes? And it's being sent to Gemini service. I can open content that it's calling Gemini service via here, and we are sending the instructions. And for example, in here, I can open the prompts. So basically, actually, you can also see this in here. If you go to aiagents.com/prompts, you can see I plan to add some prompts, like the most important prompts that I use or that I have found in here. Right now it's just one. So I'm going to add that to the prompts. In here we have instructions that are starting this, and I'm going to add more instructions. So it's going to be this part. Use HTML tags to format the content. Don't use. Okay. So I'm going to add this. So I'm going to use this also, but I want to the response that generated should be in HTML format, not Markdown. Nor something different. Now don't use m dash or n dash, use the transcript. Okay, so I think if I run this in here, so let's see, make me an article. This should now respect and generate just the HTML, just the content in HTML. Okay, so as you can see now, if I click in HTML, we now got the content in HTML. We can see it in here. So now if I go to HTML, this is HTML, and I can just copy and add this to my blogs, where like other blogs for other services where I'm creating content and create text content based on the video content that I'm creating. So that's just, let's move that to the front end just to make sure that it is working also in the front end. So let's go in here and let's so just a moment. So let's deploy to the server. Generating content in HTML. Let's sync the changes and let's go to our production server. Sorry, so let's go to the in here, and in here let's do this. Okay, so what is happening here? So if you remember, I ran in here npm audit fix, and that changed my package log.json. So I had some packages with a version, and npm audit fix changed the version, as we just saw, to fix the vulnerabilities. So now the package log.json, it's different from the one that's being imported or pulled. It's not different, it's the same, but it should be the same, but it is detecting that it has a local change, and that is why it is aborting and not pulling the new changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset using Git. I want to reset, do a hard reset. So that's going to take me back to when there was no changes in that file. So now if I go to the main folder and I do this, now it is pulling the changes, okay? And that package log.json already has the fixed vulnerabilities, because if you remember, in here I did this, okay? So now it is working. Let's go to here and let's say make me an article. So let's just wait a moment to see if it is generating the article in HTML instead of in Markdown. Okay, so what happened? So it looks like it it changed the structure. Let's see what happens if I open it in here. Yes, it's changing the structure, so I need to work on this. Okay, so I need to work on this. Let's see what's happening. So if I change this to, oh, that's crazy. So let's see what HTML it's being added. So it should be something in here. So maybe if I remove these. So why is it changing that? Let's see. Oh, I think I know what's going on. So let's do HTML. So I think it's getting this max width of 800. So what happens if I change this max width from 800 to other value, because this is adding this some style to the body of the website. So let's see. So let's modify the value in the database. So let's do MySQL. Just let me get the password. So right now I'm using root. You can, like, I use its own users for each database. It's more secure, but right now, I mean, I'm already sharing everything, like, and this is something pretty well known, like the root user. So there's no, I mean, obviously it's better if I don't show these kind of things, but I'm sharing everything, so it doesn't matter right now. It should matter when you have, like, when you are not sharing anything, you know. But if I'm sharing this, it is going to make my code and my applications more secure, because I need to be really careful that everything that I'm doing is rock solid in the secure aspect, in the security aspect, because if not, and I'm sharing this, like, anyone could be able to hack or do something with the applications. But if it's not being done, it's because they are secure, because I'm sharing everything. So let's use this database. So let's select, so let's show the database, the tables. So let's show tables, select so let's do select generated contents. So let's describe generated contents. So let's select ID, content, so it will be content from generated contents, order by ID, descending, limit 1, and where user, so where there are my own contents. Okay, so it's this one, and it should be the one that has the this. Okay, so I want to, so I mean, I could try and just so what I was thinking is to just modify this value and just remove it. The issue is that if I do modify it in here, I can have some issues. So for example, if I use single quotes, all of these quotes are going to give me some error. Like, it's going to make the query not go through, because I'm modifying the database directly, the records in the database directly. But let's try to do it in a different way. Like, let's copy this. I'm just going to try it one time. If it works, amazing. If not, no hard feelings. So let's go to here. Let's copy this. So let's say update generated contents set where ID equals 22, because that's the record, 22. So let's do set content equals, if this doesn't work, I'm not going to take lots of time to fix it. I'm going to do it in another way. So yes, we have an error. Yes. Yes, I'm not going to take it. It's better if we solve the issue from directly in here. So what I'm going to do, let's do something. So let's do something like this. Update. We're going to do a test. Update generated contents set where ID equals 22. So let's set content equals, and let's do it like pretty basic. So for example, let's do HTML. Let's close the HTML. Let's add the head. Let's close the head. So let's open the body. Let's close the body. So in here, I'm just going to add one H1. Let's close this. So this is going to be called my title. And then let's add a simple paragraph. So the paragraph. Yeah, I just want to make sure that the issue is what I was telling you. And it's this, that it says max width 800. So I just want to replicate the issue. So let's do in head. So let's add style like this, and let's do body max width, I don't know, 900 pixels. Sorry, let's do 800 pixels. Let's see. So I changed the content in here. So now if I update this, okay. So you can see how this is changing from being full width to 800 width. And so the issue was the max width, but also other things like, for example, margin auto in here, maybe background color, this one. So all of these things were modifying how the page was looking. Now we just validated it by adding this max width. So now if I change it to, I don't know, 100%, this should not happen anymore. So if I save this, look how if I change, it's not changing like anything in the body. Okay, so that's what's happening. So let's make sure that this doesn't happen anymore when by processing the content that is being generated. So in here, look how I'm removing this HTML, these elements. Okay, so we are going to do something similar, but in a different way. So so what I can do, so I'm going to do something like just leave the content inside the body So I'm going to ask to the AI because I'm not sure if this is what I want to. So I'm just going to ask. This is the vibe coding stage. So let's say, what is this line doing? Okay. So let's see. And this is going to be the last thing that I do in this session. So it's taking forever. I just want something pretty fast. So let's do GPT-4o from now on. So no. So what I want to do, what I want to do is remove everything, everything that is before the first body tag, and just leave everything that is inside the body tags. Let's see if GPT-5o can solve this. Okay, to achieve this, you can use a regular expression to match everything before the first body tag and remove it, leaving only the content inside the body tags. Okay, so let's apply this. Okay. So it's explaining what it's doing, what this regular expression is doing. So for example, it's telling me this part, so the first part, it matches everything from the start of the string up to the including first tag. Okay. So let's test, let's commit this. So leaving everything inside, leaving just what is inside the body tags. So let's sync the changes. And let's go to here. So let's pull the changes. Okay. So we're going to see if it works by seeing what's inside the database. Okay, so let's generate a new article. Make me an article. And I think we should also add more things to the prompt to make sure that the response is always generated as we want to. Like just with the body, like we could say in the prompt that I just want the body. Maybe that would be a better way to do it. Or we can also do other things like the body shouldn't have any style or any modifiers. So let's see the HTML and look how we just have some any like H1, like content inside H1. We don't have the body anymore in here. So I think that's better. Now let's see the content. So it was generated. Now we have that blog post, the article with ID 23, and look how we don't have any other HTML tags before H1, neither at the end. So I think that's going to do the job for right now. I'm going to continue in the next session. And well, that's everything for this session. Thank you very much for being here. Please let me know if I can help you in anything else. Send me a message, leave me a comment, or get in touch. See you later.